What if the language spoken before Columbus arrived was still the language millions use every day? And what if that same country, without a single mile of coastline, became one of the world's leading exporters of clean electricity? Very few places can answer both questions. Paraguay is one of them. For generations, this quiet nation has lived in the shadow of its larger neighbors, rarely making headlines and often overlooked by travelers. Yet beneath that silence lies one of South America's most remarkable stories. Here, Guarani is not a language preserved for museums. It is spoken in everyday life by millions of people. Paraguay also shares one of the world's largest hydroelectric power plants, while the legacy of a devastating war and decades of dictatorship continues to shape the nation today. This is not the story of South America's most famous nation. It's the story of one of its most extraordinary. Most indigenous languages slowly faded after European colonization. Guarani didn't. Today, it is spoken by millions of Paraguayans, not only in rural communities, but in cities, schools, businesses, and government offices. That makes Paraguay one of the very few countries in the Americas where an indigenous language remains part of everyday life for the majority of the population. But what makes this story remarkable isn't simply that Guarani survived, it's that it survived against the odds. For centuries, Spanish became the language of power, higher education, and economic opportunity. Guarani, meanwhile, was often associated with home, tradition, and rural life. Many believed modernization would eventually push it aside. Instead, the opposite happened. Generation after generation continued speaking it, not because they were required to, but because it remained part of who they were. That doesn't mean the story has a perfect ending. Among younger Paraguayans, Spanish and English increasingly dominate universities, business, and global careers. Guarani still faces pressures that could reshape its future. Yet every conversation, every family gathering, and every child who learns the language keeps something much larger alive. Because in Paraguay, Guarani isn't simply a way to communicate. It is living proof that culture can survive conquest, outlast empires, and still define a nation centuries later. Few nations have paid a higher price for war than Paraguay. Between 1864 and 1870, the country fought the War of the Triple Alliance against Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, a conflict so devastating that historians still debate the true scale of Paraguay's losses. What they don't debate is its impact. Entire towns disappeared, the economy collapsed, and the country's population was left permanently transformed.
Some estimates suggest
Paraguay lost well over half of its people, with the vast majority of military-age men never returning home. Whether the exact number was lower or higher, the consequences reshaped every generation that followed. Families were forced to rebuild from almost nothing. Women became the backbone of communities struggling to recover. To understand modern Paraguay is to understand that resilience has never been a slogan here. It has always been a necessity. Paraguay has no coastline, yet it possesses something many nations can only dream of. Along the Parana River stands the Itaipu Dam, one of the largest hydroelectric power plants ever built. Shared with Brazil, it generates so much electricity that Paraguay produces far more renewable power than it consumes, exporting the rest across its borders. It is one of the greatest paradoxes in South America. A country with no access to the sea became an energy giant. But Itaipu is about much more than engineering. It represents decades of negotiation, cooperation, and unequal influence between a small nation and one of the region's largest powers. The dam transformed Paraguay's economy, yet it also sparked ongoing debates about how the benefits should be shared. and whether the country has truly captured the full value of its own resources. For Paraguay, rivers have always meant more than geography. Without a coastline, waterways became trade routes, borders, sources of energy, and the foundation of national development. Energy. Sometimes, a country's greatest natural resource isn't hidden beneath the ground. Sometimes, a country's greatest natural resource isn't hidden beneath the ground. It's the river that never stops flowing. Most visitors never make it to the Gran Chaco. Yet this immense wilderness covers nearly 2/3 of Paraguay and tells one of the country's most important stories. It is a land of dry forests, vast plains, extraordinary wildlife, and indigenous communities whose connection to this landscape stretches back centuries. Today, that landscape is changing faster than almost anyone realizes. The expansion of cattle ranching and commercial agriculture has made the Paraguayan Chaco one of the fastest deforesting regions in the Americas. Forests that stood for generations are disappearing, replaced by roads, fences, and pasture. But this is about more than trees. For indigenous peoples such as the Engzet and Sanapana, the fight is also about history, identity, and the right to remain on ancestral lands that have sustained their communities for centuries. The Chaco reveals a side of Paraguay that tourists rarely see. A place where economic growth collides with conservation, where development raises difficult questions, and where the future of one of South America's last great wildernesses is still uncertain. The story of Paraguay isn't written only in its cities. Some of its most important chapters are still unfolding far beyond them. Some countries leave their mark with towering skylines, world-famous landmarks, or moments that dominate the headlines. Paraguay chose a quieter path. Its story is written in a language that refused to disappear, in a nation that endured unimaginable loss, yet never lost its sense of identity, in rivers that power millions of lives beyond its borders, and in the forests of the Gran Chaco, where the future of nature and indigenous communities is still being decided. Perhaps that is what makes Paraguay so remarkable. Not because it demands the world's attention, but because it has never needed to. Its greatest treasures cannot always be measured in visitor numbers, economic rankings, or international recognition. They live in the resilience of its people, the strength of its culture, and the quiet determination to preserve what makes this country unique. In a world that often celebrates the loudest voices, Paraguay reminds us that some of the most extraordinary stories are told in silence. And sometimes, the places we know the least are the ones that have the most to teach us. This is more than the story of a country hidden in the heart of South America. It is the story of endurance, identity, and a people who proved that history does not simply shape a nation, It is the choices of every generation that keep its spirit alive.